Well, maybe it's this wand. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
So my neighbor has been kind of depressed lately. He's just like, doesn't have a girlfriend. Just like, he kind of keeps to himself. Doesn't want to talk to me. And literally he came over like late that week and he's like, hey, can I just come over? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, I feel great. He's like, I don't know what happened, but like Monday night, he's like, I just started feeling really good. I have all this energy. Like I don't need to sleep all the time. I feel great. I helped this old lady across the road. And I was like,
what? He helped an old lady across the street? Usually not. Does he usually like shout and point and make fun of old ladies? Like,
yeah, no, usually just shoves them to the ground. Get out of here, old lady. Now he's just bouncing off the walls?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, he like wanted to come over. He brought his dinner over. He's like, I just want to talk, and I was like, well, I want to freak you out, because he's not into any of this stuff, right? So in that room over there is this wand hooked up to this waveform generator, and it's supposed to go 30 feet, which means it would reach into your bedroom. And he just looked at me, and he's like, it's not the wand. And I'm like, okay.
All right. Moving on. Everything's good.
No big deal.
So he hasn't really talked to me, but he seems to be doing well. So I don't know. It's just I literally leave it on 24/7, and it creates a frequency in here. So maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's a placebo effect. Maybe it just so happened that he's just not depressed anymore. It's just random. But but for the most part, when you hold on to it, you can literally feel it go up and down your spine, which is super cool. It's like you're charging your body with a frequency. And so whether it's literally blowing negative entities or negative frequencies or you're changing my DNA and now I'm just like an amazing superwoman, you can actually physically feel it. So, I mean, I haven't seen any
I want to try it.
Yeah, you should come over and try the wand.
I want to hold onto your rod and blow my mind.
I really hope my parents are listening.
Sorry, Mrs. Tittle.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is. So I always have to. I want to tell something positive before we go into some dark space that you two are going to create. But yeah. So I don't know what this guy created, but I'm saying there's tons of devices out there. You can check out this guy's site. It's really cool. He calculates all these different frequencies based on measurements of the Great Pyramid, measurements of temples. This specific staff is built to like my height, so the actual length of my spine. So I don't know. Wow. It's just interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's super fascinating. Okay. And do you know what staff exactly the name of it was based off in ancient Egypt?
No, because they all look the same. They all look the same, Josh. Except for, like, if you see, like, the staffs that Moses has, they look a little bit different. But, like, if you go to any relief, any temple, it doesn't matter what god or goddess is holding it, they all look the same. They have a ball on the bottom. They have, we don't know if they were copper, but most of the things in ancient Egypt were made out of copper. And then there's, like, what looks like, they call it a jed pillar, but it basically looks like a Tesla coil, and then on top of that is some kind of either like a snake or like a ball, like a crystal, that kind of thing.
That's dope.
Like the Caduceus, right?
Yeah, like the Caduceus, exactly. And that's supposed to be what's happening in the middle of that staff is like a wrapping of
double
those
helix
coils, like just like Kundalini, like just how your spine is supposed to intertwine with itself.
Which is all a metaphor for DNA, in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah, bring it home. Okay, let's do some dark shit now. Come on.
Well, all right. I got some darkness. It starts a little lighter. This, what I'm about to explain to you, is something. It's a device for contacting the dead, and it can be used in multiple ways. I have an awesome little history lesson on this device, and then a creepy modern story. Perfect combo. So let me set it up. The name of this device to contact the dead is called a psychomantium.
Psychomantium. Okay.
Shit, I knew I was saying it wrong. Fuck. That's why I said it 3 times.
I didn't mean to correct you.
Fuck.
I was just wanted to jump in on your happiness.
Every
time. You don't understand. Melissa made me
and mispronunciation.
I almost lost my cool the other day at work because I had to fucking read a French guy's translation, Anton Parks, for you, Melissa, and there was 55 words in there. I could not. I thought you were doing it on purpose to torture me. I go, no, she's fucking with me. She made me do this because she's fucking with me. You're out of control. I'm on to you. Payback's gonna be a bitch. All right, how do you say it again? Psychomantium.
Psychomantium.
Psychomantium. All right, the psychomantium. Whatever. What is it basically? It's fucking awesome. Before I get to it, what do we have to contact the dead? We have seances. We have the Estes method, which is a new method where you put ping pongs on your eyes and you take a radio and you turn it slowly and crazy and then eventually you start hearing voices. It's the whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. But the device I want to talk about today, which I'm scared to pronounce again, is a device where it was used in ancient times that actually... What you're doing with it is it's a mirror. You're using a mirror to contact the dead. Now, we've all had this as a kid when we were a child. Don't look into a mirror too long. Something's going to happen. I think it's all based off of an ancient Greek thing that actually had a modern revival thanks to Dr. Raymond Moody. Dr. Raymond Moody is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. He's like everyone's grandfather. He profoundly relaxed me when it came to the fear of death and talking about reincarnation and life after death in general. Look into his work. It's amazing. He wrote a book in 1993, though, called Reunions, Visionary Encounters with Departed Loved Ones. Now, most of his work's about reincarnation, and I mean, most of it's near-death experiences. That's what most of his work is. But in this book, he goes on, he brings back a device from Greek times, the psychomantium. Ha, got it.
Nailed it.
He used it actually. He actually used this thing to help people get over grief. But let me just read quickly to you what I found in this article from my favorite people in the world, Greg and Dana Newkirk, who of course have used this device because they're paranormal awesome. Oh, yeah. Greg just won Paranormal Guy of the Year. He's awesome. Paranormal Person of the Year. So, okay, this is what they wrote in the article, which is a quick history lesson. Stemming from the Greek necromantion, which I pronounced wrong, which translates to Oracle of the Dead, the psychomantium was such a popular method of spirit contact that they were made reference to in epic Homer's Odyssey, where Odysseus speaks with his dead mother by gazing into a pit of blood. It wasn't until the 1950s that archaeologists actually excavated one of the devices in this place called Epirus, officially pulling the psychomantium, yes, I did it, out of legend and into reality. So it has Greek origins, but it wasn't until 1993 that Raymond Moody brought out this tradition again. And it wasn't really used for anything scary back in the day. He actually used it and had a profound effect on his patients. He took like 300 people or something like that and made them follow this protocol where you take a mirror, you slant it at 45 degrees so you can't see your reflection, you put a candle behind you or a soft light, and so the light's kind of behind you. And then traditionally, a long time ago, you used a bowl of water to look into, but you can also look into the mirror. For some reason, Moody got rid of the bowl of water because he's a gangster. And what he found out was, which was incredible, is this tradition or this ritual had a profound effect on his patients. About 25% of the people who looked into the mirror saw a dead relative that they were trying to contact, like physically saw them straight up in the mirror. 10% of those people, 10% of total, not 10% of the 25%, experienced and reported a hand reaching out and touching them.
I mean, like they wait, hold on a second. They physically saw the hand come through the mirror, or they just felt like a hand behind them touch them?
The way it's described is they saw and felt. Yeah.
Now, was it really a soft, erotic caressing, or was it a sharp poke?
It depended who they were reaching out to, yeah. It depended on the ghost.
It was a hand job, yes.
It was a
solid hand job. An old-fashioned. All right, cool.
A little incestual, though, since it's a relative. This is getting weird. So, so the patients... I know, I was like, okay, people okay with incest. But
that's awkward, yeah.
But not to make this transition, but it had a transformational aspect on all of them profoundly. Like, it got people... They got rid of their grief. They got over their dead loved ones because they got to see them and say goodbye and finally have that closure. It was really, really profound and transformational. I love that story, but don't worry. It's about to get dark. So now what I'm going to move on to is is a haunted mirror that someone performed this ritual on, which is just another level.
Is this the same thing? Sorry to jump on in there, Melissa. Is this the same thing as scrying? Is this a different thing? Scrying is
basically the same thing. You're looking in a reflective surface. So, like the bowl of water, or like a crystal ball, or a crystal, or anything that's reflective, you look into. Yeah, and you do a ritual, and then you like wait for the ritual, whatever you ask, to come through that reflective surface. So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
In a way.
All right.
In a way.
Just wanted to double check.
So, it's not exactly new news, this kind of ritual, but it is in the sense I didn't realize it got repopularized in the 90s. I didn't realize it's been mostly cornered into the paranormal world, but I thought it was really fascinating that it could be used for transformation and for getting over grief. But this I came across. Of course, I have to research Greg and Dana and Newkirk anytime I can, and they have a great article which I referenced, but they were on a show, Travel Channel's Kindred Spirits, which was on Travel Channel, and they were on an episode about Gettysburg, dealing with this mirror. I thought at first it was something we referenced a long time ago, this haunted mirror in the South, but it wasn't. This was like a obscure mirror. It wasn't famous, but let me break this story down. It's really, really, really cool and creepy. Matt, you'd be proud of me.
Cool, right. Yeah. I'm already halfway there.
So in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, there's this place called the Farnsworth House. It's a famous ghost place. It's been around for a long time. In the basement, for some reason, one of the owners built like an old funeral home just for like, I don't know, shock value or to scare people or just to be neat. I think a long time ago it was used as one, but then he kind of like modernized it and made it into even a more flamboyant kind of like funeral room. It's really creepy. It's meant to scare people.
Funeral room. Okay.
Hey, do you want to go drink down in the funeral room? You know? Why not? Okay.
So in this basement, which looks like a funeral home, there is a giant mirror. I'll get to it in a second. So, for some reason in this house, they do tours. It's a giant hotel as well. People sleep there. Of course, all these things are reported. All this creepy shit. But for some reason, the female tour guides and females in general feel like they're being harassed, on being touched, being pushed, hearing voices, just feeling really shitty about being in certain places, especially in the basement. So in the course of the show, the two hosts, Amy and what's the other guy's name? Adam, investigate and figure out that there's something obviously going on, and it's coming in the basement, and they have a theory it might be coming from the mirror. So they call in the Newkirks, who show up, and they actually are familiar with the ritual with the mirror, the psychomantium. So they show up and they immediately tilt the mirror 45 degrees so that you can't see their faces. They put a bowl of water on the ground. They put on white noise, and then Dana and Amy's the host, and Dana decide to do it together because there's enough room, and they decided to do this because the ghost was obviously aggressive towards females, so they were trying to bait it to see if it would come out. So they lit a single candle behind them, and they sit there. They start meditating. The boys leave the room and kind of are filming from distance. While they're filming, it goes on for a while. We don't really know the girls' experience, so they come out, but Greg and Adam noticed like this at one point, like a clear white light appear, or like a mist kind of thing on the mirror, which was interesting. Could easily be faked in post, and I know a lot of ghost hunting shows are actually faked. As someone who worked in reality TV, I have a feeling this wasn't, and some are definitely not. And the Newkirks definitely don't associate themselves with anything that's faked. So, This is where the crazy stuff happens. Dana and Amy step away, and this is what they decide happened. At the same moment that they saw the light forming in the mirror, Amy and Dana both independently felt the same thing. They felt like something was trying to manifest, which was crazy. Then, Amy describes feeling something pressing on her neck and choking her, and Dana almost loses it because she said she witnessed an arm reach up to Amy's throat and touch her on the throat the moment Amy put her hand up. And that scared Dana. For a split second, she was like, what the hell's happening? But it was kind of like in your mind's eye, kind of not kind of scenario, because it's so dark in there. You can barely see except for the mirror and the water. So... Both, at the same time, independently, noticed a white-faced man with a white collar on the right side. He had wide cheekbones and a giant square forehead, they said. Like a wide as fuck, just like a big forehead motherfucker. So
face like a frying pan, right?
So,
huge forehead.
What this immediately confirms because Dana has no idea the history of this house, or Greg. They don't know anything. Only Adam and Amy know. And they kind of already know the person they thought this could be there haunting the place. So they show a picture to Dana, and she's like, that was the person in the mirror. This person, his name is Clarence Collins. He was from this estate, and he was a famous sex trafficker and a convicted killer. He was actually the most notorious killer in Gettysburg at the time. What? He smuggled women across state lines. He, That's who they saw in the mirror. So all the evidence points to them. So what Dana thinks is going on with this guy is that his seed has been planted in the mirror, and he's growing. He's taking more and more power because what they